Hi Deviants, welcome to the show. We'll learn how to play a new game. And you may wonder how. Well, allow us to explain. The rabbit is picking carrots, the squirrels are saving nuts, berries are stored by the parrots, and some worms by the wildcats. All animals are really busy, saving food on their lairs. Those days won't be easy, but there's no time for despair. Red leaves are falling, and this is not a fake. Winter is finally coming to the forest of Savernake. So, we'll learn how to play Savernake Forest, a nice game designed by Rodrigo Rego with a cute and warm art by Nuria Aparicio. This is a game for 2 to 4 players that lasts around 30 minutes, a game for the entire family. Let's take a look to what's inside the box and then we'll show you how to play Savernake Forest. So that's everything you will find inside the box, okay? The rulebook with everything explained and all the components. You have a bunch of cards. You have cards with the green bag. Those are the path cards, that you have a path that goes throughout a forest and you will find food on the path. And then there are the animal cards with the red back, okay? The animal cards, they are like this one. You have the animal at the center of the image. There is a value on victory points that you will win just to have that animal on your forest. There's a value of storing, that's the maximum capacity to store food that that animal has. And then you have the 4 kinds of food you will find in the forest: the berries, worms, eggs, and nuts, and the value that that food is worth to that animal, okay? So basically, you will build the path from your animal, and the animal will take the first food that he finds until the animal has reached the maximum storage capacity. We will see that. You have also some water drop tokens, some lairs tokens, and those markers to score to track the score at the end of the game. The first player token, this is the rooster here, and the main board, the side with the animals just to display the market. And here you have the points track that you will use at the end of the game, okay? So basically the setup is the one that we've made here, okay? Just shuffle all the path cards and place 3 of them below those 3 animals, the rooster, the goat, and the armadillo. Do the same with the animal cards and place 1 below the rabbit. Place all the lairs tokens on top of the armadillo and the water drops above the goat. And finally, choose a first player that will get the rooster token, myself, and each player chooses one of those markers just to track the score at the end. Then players will take 1 animal card, and with that card players will start building their forest, okay? If you are in a 2 players game, there's a variety that you can start the game with 2 animal cards side by side, okay? And instead of completing a 4x4 forest, that is what you will do in a regular game, you have to complete an 8x4 forest, but that's just for 2 players game, okay? So let's start with the regular game, okay? So you start with an animal card, and then it's your job to build your forest. The game in Savernake Forest is played over several rounds, and the game will end once all players have completed their 4x4 forest. So if you calculate, you will have a total of 15 rounds. At the beginning of each round, just place new cards on the market, and starting by the first players will play 1 turn. During your turn, you must select 1 of the available cards. If you are the first player, you will have all the cards here, but once players start choosing cards, you will have less cards to choose. And then just take 1 of those cards and place it on your forest, but following those rules. First of all, the card that you add to the forest must be in direct contact with a card you already have on your forest, okay? You can place it in the direction that you prefer, anywhere, but it has to be in direct contact with a card that you already have here. Also, you cannot exceed the limit of 4x4. So if you already have 4 cards here, you cannot place a 5th one, okay? It has to be limited to those 4x4 or 8x4 if you are in a 2-player game. Then, in the same path, you cannot have 2 animals, okay? If by choosing cards you have to place an animal to the same path that another, at the end of the game you will have to choose which animal will score for that forest. And that's it. Just take one of the cards, and then each card comes with an animal with a special ability. But the rabbit, the ability of the rabbit is just that it's the only way that you can obtain new animals for your forest, okay? The armadillo grants you with a alert token. If you take a alert token, you just place it on top of one of your animals. Now we just have one animal, okay? And it increases the storage capacity by 1. So now, instead of 2 food, we can get 3 food, okay? We will score for the first 3 food that we have in our path. If you are taking a card from the goat, let's imagine that we are taking that one, we don't have the alert token, okay? You may get a water drop, and you may place it on any of the 4 corners of your animal. That way, the value that food is granted to that animal is increased by 1. So now our eggs will be 2 points each egg that we collect instead of 1. You cannot have more than 1 water drop on each of the corners, but you can have 4 water drops in the same card, just placing 1 on each of the corners, okay? And finally, if you are taking the card where the rooster is, let's imagine that the card was here, you take the first player token, and in the next round, you will be the first player, okay? If you are less than 4 players and nobody takes that one, the first player will continue to be the same as in the round before. And that's it. By taking one card and getting the benefit of the animal, your turn will end, and it's time, and it's the next player turn that will do the same. We'll select one of the cards, we'll apply the benefit, and you will continue that way until all players have played one turn. They will put an end to the round, and before start the new round, you have to remove all the cards at one place and place new ones. And starting with the player that has the rooster, you will play a new round, starting picking cards, using the abilities, and you will continue that way until all players have completed a 4x4 forest. That way, you will come to the end of the game, and it will be time to check who's the winner of the game. What we have explained so far was the game for 3-4 players. With the specification that we said for 2 players, to start with 2 animals and build an 8x4 forest. There's another thing for a 2 players game, that you will play 2 turns in a round, and you will alternate with the other player. You will take one card, then the other player will take one card, then you will take a second one, and the other player will take the second card. That way you will choose the 4 cards, okay? But just for 2 players game. So we go back to the final score. Once all players have made the 4x4 forest, it's time to check who's the winner. Flip the board to make sure that you can track your score, and with your marker start scoring for the different animals. As we said before, just take the animal and just follow the path, and you will take the food that is here until you reach your maximum capacity. For example, with our wood picker here, we have a storage capacity of 2, plus that one is 3, so we will take the worm, the eggs, and the berry. So we will score for the worm is 1, plus the water drop is 2 points, 1 for the egg, and 1 for the berry. So we'll score 4 points in total just for that animal. And you have to do that with all the animals. Also, as we said before, if you have a path that is shared by 2 animals, that you have to try to don't have that, but some things happen. So you have to choose before start scoring which animal you will score. In our case, we prefer to score the crow here than that guy here. So that one won't count. You can just turn it over, and just count the one that it counts. In our case, like in the one before, you can pick up to 5 food, so 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, and then a score. We have 1, 2, 3 eggs. Eggs are worth 2 points, so 3 per 2 is 6 points, and 1 worm, that is 1 point, so 7 points just for that animal. And you have to do that with all the animals you have on your forest. And at the end, the player who has more points will be the one who built the best forest, where the animals are more happy and are more capable to have a comfy winter, and more important, will be the winner of the game. And that's Savernake Forest, card construction game with a really cute art for the entire family. We hope you enjoy the game, and remember, keep playing. Bye.